How's this for a poke in the eye? I'm so tired of these whiny-ass Christians, Christian fascists. I am. They're the ones who've eaten the Republican Party. Well, here's the latest. The Republican National Committee is going to change the rules to require presidential candidates who would like to run on the Republican ticket to sign a pledge that they will not participate in any debates sponsored by the Commission on Presidential Debates. Now, wasn't that an organization that was set up by both parties back in, the 80s? And the objective was to codify the debates as a permanent part of presidential elections. Let's have the candidates get out there and expose themselves, so to speak. And it is nonpartisan, but these whiny-ass fascist Christians, a.k.a. the Republicans, have complained for nearly a decade that the process favors Democrats. I mean, you've watched these debates. Have you seen anything that favors Democrats? In my viewing, I've often thought, Jesus, why are they allowing these right-wingers to be on the questioning panels, right? But beauty or I should say, political insanity, like beauty, is in the eye of the beholder, right? How many times are you going to say right today, Mike? This evening. So stop. Just stop. Okay. The Republican committee officials were alerted, or they alerted the debate commission that this is what the plan was. It was in a letter sent yesterday, a copy of which was obtained by the New York Times, which is where the article I'm quoting from was published. Now, if the change goes forward, I don't see why it wouldn't. It would be one of the most substantial shifts in how presidential and vice presidential debates have been conducted since the commission began organizing these debates back in the 80s, right? And this move by the whiny-ass fascist Christians who now run the Republican National Committee, this obviously is an outgrowth of those long-held bitchy complaints. And apparently, the demand for the change came after months of discussion between the commission, the Commission on Presidential Debates, and party officials for the Christian Fascist Party. According to the RNC's letter, the chairman of the party's temporary presidential debate committee, David Bossie, I don't know if you remember him. He's a lawyer. He began discussing last year with the debate commission's co-chair, Frank Fahrenkopf, who is a former Republican official. The whole goddamn thing is run by the commission is run by a Republican, but is just more proof, if you need it, that the Republican Party is a corpse. What used to be the Republican Party is now the Fascist Christian Party, period. End of debate. Now, the Republican Party chairwoman, you've seen her as she went around belching and burping and farting in favor of, and boy, could she belch, burp, and fart in favor of Donald Trump. Ronna McDaniel, she has demanded that changes be made to the commission and how the debates were held. And she wrote a letter to the commission back in June, apparently, that the Republican Party and its voters had lost faith in the commission. Oh, really, Ronna? Huh? Fart, wheeze. Really, Ronna? So, at the RNC winter meeting in Salt Lake City next month, this change requiring candidates to refuse participation in the commission's debates will be voted on. And if the Republican National Committee moves forward, what is the future for these debates? Or does one not exist? And it would change the approach to be similar to what happened before the commission existed, when the two parties or campaigns had to negotiate directly and agree on terms, or no debates would take place. That's why this commission was established back in the 80s, to cut the shit. I mean, come on. Let a nonpartisan group run by Republicans make the decision rather than the individual candidate campaigns, right? Now, officials of the commission have been complaining lately, privately, that the leaders of the Fascist Christian Party have conflated the processes around primary debates with what occurs in the general election, which are the only ones the commission is involved with. The commission is involved with the primary debates. The presidential debates is something else. The Republicans, the Christian fascists, also have complained that the commission historically deals with campaigns and not with party committees. No, I don't know what that means either. So while the eventual nominee could decide to debate, there's far more energy in the Christian fascist base behind abandoning institutions than there used to be. This is what the Christian fascists are all about. They want to pull, and Donald Trump certainly personified that, to pull the United States internationally and domestically out of every goddamn kind of agreement that has been put in place to try to civilize or socialize interactions among our own political candidates, as an example, or between our diplomats and diplomats from other countries. But the Christian fascists don't want any of that. They want this isolationist bullshit where they all sit around and I don't know, berate women and pray and wait for the return of a non-existent being who's going to come with the blast of a trumpet someday. Now, of course, since they're Christian fascists, their demands could change at any time. Depends who is burping and farting and speaking within the Christian Fascist Party with the largest megaphone at any given time. So circumstances could always change, and the Republican National Committee could choose not to go ahead with this rules change that this psycho Ronna McDaniel is demanding. However, Ms. McDaniel has put herself out on a limb with this latest letter, and the commission, which usually negotiates with the campaigns of the various nominees, the commission is showing no sign of making the Republican National Committee a negotiating partner. Well, I would hope to shout. What? See, we're right back to that thing that I was talking about earlier this week, about this idea that we're supposed to sit down across the table from these right-wing son of a bitches and try to find common ground. You know, they write a letter describing themselves. I write a letter describing myself, and then we exchange letters and we read each other's letters out loud. And then we try to find those areas in our lives where we can sing Kumbaya and pat each other on the ass. Such areas do not exist for me. They don't. And you know, I started to feel bad about that. Like, come on, Mike, can't you ever find common ground with these fuckheads? Oops. And the answer is no, I can't. I can't find common ground with them on anything. It was hard enough for me to watch University of Georgia become national champions, football national champions, realizing that I was celebrating along with a lot of beer-swilling, church-going Christian fascists here in Georgia who had to, yeah, go dogs, woof, 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 go dogs. You know, these assholes that don't have a 10th grade education shouting and cheering. Well, I guess what else do they have? So as far as finding common ground with Christian fascists, no. I'm not even going to make the effort. Are you kidding me? So anyway, farty, wheezy Ronna McDaniels, the chairwoman of the Republican Party, has decided that this is how it's going to be. And the Presidential Debates Commission are more or less saying, go fuck yourself, Ron. I mean, seriously. The commission said in a statement, quote, the CPD, that's the Commission on Presidential Debates, deals directly with candidates for president and vice president who qualify for participation. The CPD's plans for 2024 will be based on fairness, neutrality, and a firm commitment to help the American public learn about the candidates and the issues. End quote. So that's what the Christian fascists don't want. This idea of fairness, neutrality, and a commitment to help the public learn about the candidates and the issues. Think back to the first Biden orange vomit debate, where that filthy son of a bitch, the orange vomit, slithered around behind his podium, even though he was infected with COVID-19, interrupting and yelling and shouting, the son of a bitch. This is what the farty, wheezy Ronna McDaniel wants all the time. We don't want no stinking debate. Truth, fairness, get the fuck out of town. What are you talking about? Hi, Truth Seekers. Mike Malloy here. As you know, we've switched formats and are now broadcast exclusively on the Progressive Voices Network. So that means you get fewer program interruptions, no corporate commercials, and lots of profanity. But our format change also means some of our radio listeners no longer hear the program. It's been a while since I mentioned our podcasts, so you may have forgotten that there is a way to listen to this program anytime you need a good dose of screaming. Visit MikeMalloy.com and subscribe to our podcast. As a podcast subscriber, you can download the program to your mobile device and take me with you wherever you go. And if you have a friend who needs a dose of truth-seeking, you can give a gift subscription as well. That's MikeMalloy.com, and never miss a minute of the uncensored fun and frivolity.